Hi, everybody. Let's see here. The TikTok set you back a bit. I won't have it like right up in my face. Mhm. This is so much fun. Okay, I see how that works. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. I hope your weekend is going well. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tochi, aka Papa Dr. Tochi, Mama of the men's and the women's. If you do me a favor and give the live stream a thumbs up or a heart, that will let the platform notify more people that class has started. As usual, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm at drtochi.com or tochi.us. You can book me there for your divinations, spiritual counseling, dream interpretation, see my events, courses, books, classes, and more. Okay. So I think that's that. Okay. Tomorrow I will not be holding the group invocations and zakat. So again, tomorrow I will not be holding the group invocations and zakat. Okay. Okay. So today we continue our class series on the third obstacle. Okay. The third obstacle that people face when they don't answer their spiritual call. Greetings, Queen Nanya Bingy. Hello, Mama Ya. Mama Ya, don't even start. Okay, don't even start. Hi, Abuko. How are you doing? So we're going to talk about a third obstacle that people face when, let me increase the volume here. A third obstacle that people face when they don't answer their spiritual call. Remember that to understand if your obstacles and problems come from not answering your spiritual call, you need to get a divination because not all problems. Thank you, Obukowo. It is good business. Because remember that not all problems that you face are because you have not answered your spiritual call. There are so many reasons why you may be facing problems. Please remember to take a moment to give the class a thumbs up. That lets the algorithm know to inform other people that class has started. So remember to give us a thumbs up. Give the live stream a thumbs up. And if you're on TikTok, remember to like. That lets people know that the class has started. Okay. Mm. The third obstacle I'd like to talk about today is money. Money. What happens with money? Money. I usually say that 95% of the problems that come to me for counseling and divination are money problems. Okay. Some people may disagree, but that is my observation. When people come to me and say, I want to know my life purpose, more often than not, it's a money problem. They're not getting the kind of money they think they need to be getting. And therefore, they're like, okay, maybe I'm not getting it because I'm not fulfilling my life purpose. Okay. When people come to me and say, oh, I'm having issues in my marriage, more often than not, there are money issues. Somebody is spending somebody's money, somebody's hoarding money, hiding money, you know, money issues. Even when people come with health issues, there are many people who come to me with health issues and they're looking for alternative solutions to their health issues. Oftentimes, the reason why they're looking for an alternative solution is because the money isn't available for them to go all out and get the allopathic treatment that they need. And I sympathize with that because if somebody has picked up an illness that is very expensive, sometimes you have to decide between eating and your health, your rent and your health, your mortgage and your health, your living expenses and your health. So I understand that. And so there are times that people um are like, okay, I don't have the money to start investing in the solution to this illness. Let me start looking for spiritual solutions, or let me assume that my illness is caused from spiritual sources and therefore focus on a spiritual solution. Thank you, Soup with Ling Ling. Okay. Folks, remember to give the thumbs up. That encourages me, and the heart. That encourages me to put out more material like this. Okay. So, money. But we're talking about money with respect to answering your spiritual call. Okay. There are many reasons why you may be experiencing financial lack in your life. There are thousands of reasons why. But the one we're focusing on today is the financial problems that come when we do not answer our spiritual call. That's what we're focusing on today. And again, understand that it doesn't mean that there are other reasons why we have financial issues, but today this is what we're focusing on. Okay. When you don't answer your spiritual call and your spirit guides need to get your attention, oftentimes they will restrict your money flow. So you might find it difficult or challenging to make money. You may find it challenging to keep money. You might find it difficult to account for your money. You might find all kinds of strange bills coming up. Okay. Unexpected bills. You might find yourself in a lot of emergencies that you weren't expecting. You will also find that you will encounter people who will embezzle your money. People will come out of nowhere and start taking your money, embezzling your money, fooling you, deceiving you, and laying hands on your money. It is not uncommon. And after it's all said and done, you'll be asking yourself, how did I let this happen? Sometimes it's almost like magic. When the person has done consuming your money or embezzling your money, it's like, the blinders are taken off your eyes and you're like, how did I even allow this to happen? Some of you might be familiar with the saga going on TikTok right now and X, the Danish deception. I will confess, I did not go and watch all 25 or 26 part of Onyeka's story. But what happened with Onyeka and Martin, the young man that she claims embezzled her money and embezzled the money of her relatives, is symptomatic of a lesson being brought one's way through other people. And when I listened to various summaries of the saga, matter of fact, there were so many people that did a really interesting analysis of her situation. Matter of fact, there was one that I watched, two white guys. They had a whiteboard and they laid everything out on the whiteboard where Onyeka was, where Martin was, and all the drama that was going on. And you're listening to this and you're saying, did this young lady not have a modicum of common sense? Especially her being in the accounting field. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm made to understand that she was in the finance field. She had a six-figure job in accounting or bookkeeping or finances, something of that nature, and she was also a realtor. But when this started going down, her even in the face of what was going on, she saw that this guy was not financially honest. She was still pumping in and putting in money, investing more money into a financially dishonest person. And she, according to her, she admitted, even when she found out he was borrowing money from others, embezzling money, owing money, gambling away money, she was still putting in her own money. So we see that um what is that saying? He who the gods will punish, they will first make mad. And I want us to understand that Onyeka's story in the Danish deception is not uncommon. It happens to both men and to women. It is as if your common sense becomes clouded. And even when people come to tell you and inform you that there is a problem, you will attack your helpers. And that's what she did. The one person that told her that something was not going well, she cut the person off and blocked them. And she was surrounded by a circle of people who were telling her, right on, right on, right on. Spirit guides often know that if they do something to our money, they will get our attention. Most of us will not pay attention to spiritual matters, to emotional matters, and other kinds of matters until our money is touched. Many of us will not pay attention because money is a currency, and it is the currency of this reality. So imagine that you were living in your house and the light went out. You would pay attention. If your electricity was cut off, if your light was taken out, you would start paying attention because you'd be like, oh my God, I'm sitting in darkness. Okay. So that is why issues with money are prominent when we do not answer our spiritual call, because that is a very quick way for spirit to get our attention. If I can buy my food, buy my designer stuff, if I can buy my wigs and hair, and if I can buy my makeup, if I can get my nails did, if I can have my nice car, nice home, then I'm not going to be interested in spiritual matters. I'm not going to be interested in self-improvement. I'm not going to be interested in all those things. But once you touch my money, I'm going to start going, wait, what a minute, wait, what's going on? What's going on? Money is the currency of this reality in which we find ourselves. And so when that current is cut off, we will pay attention because we feel it. Money is energy. And that is the reason why when you get money, you feel as, energized. When you get money, you feel energized. You feel like you had a cup of coffee. You feel like you had some caffeine. And the reason is because what money represents is currency. That's why it's called currency. It's a current. And so spirit, both literally and figuratively, will start cutting currents in our lives. And we're even going to talk about health issues that can happen when you don't answer your spiritual call. We'll get into that because your health, your life force is also currency. And when that gets tampered with, you will feel it. You will feel it. It is not uncommon for people who have not answered the spiritual call to start getting warning signs that something is about to happen to their money. And the person will start losing money in little ways. They're looking for money, they're searching for their money. They find themselves impulse shopping and they go and buy these things that at the moment they thought they needed. But after they've bought those things, they realize, wait a minute, why did I spend my money on these things? I don't need it. And then they discover that they're short. They spend that money, they buy something they don't need, and then they discover that they're short. It is as if there's a part of the brain that is like, I want to do what I want to do and I don't care, what it means or what happens. I'm just going to do what I do. And then after you do that thing you want to do, you turn around and regret it. That is not uncommon. When you do not answer your spiritual call, you will also find out that people will borrow from you and find it difficult to pay you back. And sometimes they do have the intention of paying you back, but they too start having problems with paying you back. And when you look at that Danish deception thing, you can see that that's what happened between Onyeka and Martin. The guy kept saying, I will pay you back, I will pay you back. But he never paid her back. Well, just give me and I will pay you back. And he never paid her back. But you will also discover that once you start answering that spiritual call, people who owe you will start reaching out to you in order to pay you back. And some of the things material things that you have lost, you will start recovering them or getting better than what you have lost once you start answering that call. Okay. You will have people who will bring harebrained, is that the term, harebrained plans to you on projects. And they will come to you and they will say to you, hey, there's this money making idea. And if you invest in this money making idea, you are going to make a lot of money. And they will sound so convincing. They will sound very convincing. And oftentimes, they will bring these ideas to you when you are needing money. And so maybe you have, enough money for your mortgage or enough money for your rent or enough money for food or something. And they will bring this idea and they will sound so convincing. If you give me your rent money, if you give me this food money, don't worry, within a week or two or a couple of days, it's going to be multiplied. And you will feel something in you. It's almost like a compulsion in you to give that money. You will feel a compulsion. And the person will say, yes, it's the spirit. It is a sign from spirit encouraging you to use this money in this way. No, it's not. But of course, because your spirit guides are involved in this thing, it's like they're conspiring to get you to fall into this challenge so that your brain, your mind will get reset. You'll be feeling this overwhelming urge to give the money and give the money and give the money. I gotta give this money. I gotta give this money. And you'll find out that after you give that money, you will have this sense of loss. You will have a sense of fear and dread come over you. What have I done? You'll be like, what have I done? What have I just done? Okay. So if you haven't answered your call and people are coming to you with these schemes or plans or projects or investments, and you start feeling a compulsion, it's as if you become unable to calm down and think about the idea that is being presented to you. You just start feeling this compulsion. I gotta do it, I gotta do it, I gotta do it. Chances are you're about to be taught the financial lesson. Other ways people will get money from you and present or make you have financial challenges is they will come to you with their problems. I'm sick. Can you help contribute to my hospital bill? You know, I have this do or die situation going with me. You're the only person who can help me. I'm in trouble. I'm facing jail. I'm facing law enforcement. I'm facing immigration problems. If you don't give me this money, my life will be over. And you will start feeling again that compulsion to give, 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 give. And there are times that people will come to me in consultation and say, Dr. Tochi, you know what? When I was before I gave that money, I just felt like I was being pushed to give that money. And after I gave that money, I realized I made a mistake, but it was too late. Is it possible that the person used witchcraft on me? Or is it they put a spell on me to give them that money? No, nobody put a spell on you. Nobody did no witchcraft on you, nothing. It is your spiritual crew allowing you to make a mistake so that your brain will come back to its factory settings. Because your spiritual crew knows that if you have a financial problem, then you're going to get desperate and you're going to start paying attention to what they're trying to tell you. Another financial challenge that shows up is equipment breaking down. And it happened to me. Okay. And I think I've told this story before. And bear with me as I tell it again. Scorpio Queen says, this is what is happening to me. Yeah. I thought I had answered the call, and I met a spiritual practitioner overseas who did all kinds of hoo-ha rituals and ha-hoo rituals, but did not do what was needed. And took a lot of money from me. Okay. And so when I returned stateside, my problems doubled. Matter of fact, my problems tripled. As soon as I came back to the US, the little job I had, I lost it. I woke up one morning and found out that two of my tires on my SUV went flat overnight. Two tires. And you know, there is a symbolism to that. Cars often represent our ability to move forward, especially when you see this in dreams. Your car represents your ability to move forward. So if you're driving your car in your dream, you are in charge of your destiny, you are driving yourself, you are in control of where you're going. But if in that dream someone else is driving you, you are not in charge of your destination. You're not in charge of where you're going. You are being controlled by someone else. That's why seeing cars in dreams is very significant. And so, even literally speaking, during our waking hours, cars have a symbolism that we need to pay attention to. And so I wake up one morning and see two tires flat, not just one, but two. And they weren't slashed, they had nails in them. And me was, well, I have a credit card. I'll just go to Walmart and buy a couple of tires and resolve that. So, and I lived within walking distance of a Walmart. So I just walked over there, made an arrangement, and then hobbled the car over there and the two bad tires and got two brand new tires and had that put on the SUV. And I thought all was well. Okay. So what happened? Thank you, Scorpion Queen. Thank you, Doyen Admire Massa. So within a week, and I prayed about it, did some invocations about it, talked to my spiritual crew about it. And then I got this part time job. And I was like, okay, things are going to go well now. Then my car engine started having problems. And I took it to the mechanic, and the mechanic was like, well, you got to change this and change this and change the other thing, and you got to do this. And I'm like, I still need to work and make money because I got bills to pay, and I just came back from a trip overseas. Let me see how long I can hold off. Within a week, that engine blew. I was going to the job and the engine blew about half a mile from my destination. The same SUV that I had replaced the tires, the engine blew. So I had to hobble the car to the side of the road, call an Uber, and go to work. Now I didn't know what to do. I'm working this job is a part-time job. I haven't even gotten paid. I've replaced 2 tires, now the engine blew. And I made a phone call, and I called a mechanic and I said, "How much would it cost to replace this engine?" And they said $2,500. I didn't have it. And my rent was coming up. And remember, I have to pay for light and electricity and water and all kinds of things. I did not have that $2,500. So I arranged again on my credit card to have that SUV towed back to my home. And I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, what is this? I thought I had done all the rituals I needed to do and all the prayers and invocation and everything I needed to do. What was this? And so I called the spiritual practitioner that had done all these things for me overseas. And I said to him, "Look at what I'm going through. Are you sure that we did the right thing?" And he said, "Yes. Um, cars just break down. Why don't you just buy another car?" That's what he said to me. "Why don't you just buy another car?" When he said that to me, then I knew that I was in trouble. I want to say this to you here, and I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. If you have been called to spiritual practice, and I'm telling you this because it happened to me, and this is my personal experience. If you have been called to spiritual practice, you must answer the call to be a spiritual practitioner. It is not the same thing as saying, "Oh, I'm going to make offerings to Yamaya. I'm going to make offerings to Obatala. I am going to make offerings to Ogun. I'm going to make offerings to Odin. I am going to make offerings to Hecate. I am going to make offerings to Mayori. I am going to do a sadak and feed the needy. I'm going to go and buy things for motherless children. I am going to, just do some random offering." It is not the same thing. Yes, I mentioned Odin. It is not the same thing. "Oh, I'm going to build an altar and I'm going to call down Diana. I'm going to call down Athena. I am going to call down Alat. I am going to call down some loi. It is not the same thing. Don't make the mistake that I made. Don't make the same mistake that I made. Answering your spiritual call means you facing your spiritual crew, your creator, your guardian spirit, your ancestors, and those spirit guides that are going to help you in your spiritual practice. And you saying to them, I have accepted my destiny. I will do, and I agree that I will do what I came here to do. And I need you to show me how to move forward. When you answer your spiritual call and you say to them, I have accepted that my destiny is spiritual practice. I'm going to help myself. I am going to help others. You will then find a way forward that allows you to be initiated into spiritual practice. You have to be initiated by someone into spiritual practice. But if you say all these things and you meet some spiritual practitioner that is telling you, oh, do a ritual for this, do a ritual for good luck, do a ritual for road opening, do a ritual for prosperity, do some prayers, or maybe you go to some, spiritual religious people and they say, no, you need to do some fasting and prayer and you're wasting your time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are wasting your time. Accepting your spiritual call is a personal agreement that you have with your spiritual crew that, yes, I will do that which I have been sent here to do. And many of us confuse that with making offerings. Oh, okay, if I do a Sadak party, if I give money to less fortunate people, if I, okay, let me go and pray at this altar and pray at that altar and do some devotion. That is not answering your spiritual call. Your spiritual call means that you will be a spiritual practitioner and that you will use your spiritual gifts on behalf of others. You will solve other people's problems even as you solve your own problems. And you say to your crew, I agree to do this. And that's why on my YouTube channel, I have a video called the Reconciliation Ritual. Because oftentimes it takes us a while to understand what spiritual practice is all about and what we need to do. And I recognize that people will struggle with this. So you can start out with a reconciliation ritual. You get you an egg, salt, and oil, where you have this conversation with your spiritual crew. I don't understand what you mean by so it's not against God's will. I don't even understand that. Didn't God make you? Didn't God give you your destiny? I don't understand that. We are not talking about church here. We're not talking about religion here. That's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about reality because many of us just focus on what we see and we don't know about what is not seen. And unfortunately, there are people who will accept their call, live in their destiny, but discourage you from doing the same because they want you to continue suffering and struggling. They have the knowledge, they have the information, but they will not give it to you. And that is why we're having this class. So if you haven't seen that video, Reconciliation Ritual, you can go to my YouTube channel and look it up. You can do a reconciliation ritual. And in your reconciliation ritual, you say to your spiritual crew, give me time and resources to get myself together so that I can do the needful and properly accept this call. And sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't want to answer the call in a traditional way. I want to do it in my church and I want to do it in my mosque. And let's say, for instance, I have been called to be a diviner, but I don't want to do divinations. It's against the Bible. I would rather be a prophetess in my church or be a prophet in my church. You will fail because that's not what you are called to do. You were not called to be a prophetess in a church. And there are many people who are prophets and prophetesses in churches who are suffering because they are not doing what they are supposed to do. They are going and working for free for somebody else. And they're using their gifts and whatnot for someone else, and they give them a big title. Oh, you're a prophet, you're a prophetess. And they're like, yes, call me prophetess Tochi, call me prophetess Doyen, call me prophet Peter. But you can't pay your rent. You can't feed yourself. Have you not seen the so-called prophets and prophetesses and evangelists and whatever they call themselves suffering from diseases that they cannot recover from? But they are a part of a church where they do miracles, healing miracles, or they're part of a mosque or a temple where they do healing miracles, but they themselves don't get healed. You have to watch these things and gain sense. You have to observe these things and gain sense. Somebody will say, oh, I'm a singer. I will go and sing in the church. I don't want to sing the ancestral songs, the healing songs. I don't want to sing the songs that heal the earth. I don't want to be involved in that. That's demonic. Okay, so you go to church to go and sing, but you're struggling. Your marriage is not happy. Your finances are funny. All kinds of things are happening to you. People are disrespecting you, using you, you're just involved in drama. You need to gain sense. There are some people who are meant to heal by singing. There are people who are, but they're not supposed to be singing in a church. They're not supposed to be singing, in a mosque or temple or shrine. No, they're supposed to have people come to them and they will heal them with sound therapy that they do directly for the people. But no, some of us will say, no, I have been called to sing for the Lord. And the only time I'm going to sing is when I'm up on the podium in front of everybody. But you're there singing all these songs and everybody's going, ah, but nobody's getting healed by it. And you're up there on the podium. The very people who need to be healed by your singing cannot reach you because you are up there on the podium. You have security. You are like a superstar. You're like a celebrity. And the people who are supposed to be with you, that you're supposed to lay hands on, sing for, use your sound therapy for, you're not doing it. You're just there with the flashing lights and the large band, and it's like a rock concert. And you say, yes, I'm serving in the vineyard of the Lord. And then you have your problems. Okay. So again, how do you know you've been called to spiritual practice? Go get a divination. Your pastor is not going to tell you that you have been called to spiritual practice. Your imam, your mufti will not tell you that you have been called to spiritual practice. They will not. And the reason why they will not tell you is because it is not in their interest to tell you this. Because if they tell you that you have been called to spiritual practice and you start your spiritual practice, many of you will supersede them. You will not need them. And they don't want that. They don't want that. Think about it as a business. Let's say that I go to China. Let's say I go to China and I get this fragrance oil from China. Is it in my interest to connect you with my supplier in China to buy this fragrance from them directly? Or is it better for me to have you buy it through me? This is how religious organizations work. Their job is not to tell you how to free yourself, redeem yourself. Their job is to be the middle person. Because if they're not the middle person, then they have no function. So that's why you have to find out for yourself, do the work for yourself. There is no way a church official or mosque official or religious official is going to say, yes, you are gifted. Let us help you set up your practice so that you can have people come to you. They will never. And the sooner you understand this, the better. Because there are many of us who are there saying, no, I believe that my pastor has my best interest at heart. My mufti has the best interest, my best interest. They're doing it for my benefit. Continue. You can continue until it's too late. Religion is a business. And if you don't fit into the business model, you will be excluded. And this is the reason why if you don't tithe, if you don't give offerings, if you're not giving contributions, you do not have the same value to that religious organization, just like somebody who does. You don't. Because they need to make money. It's from a practical point of view. They have to be practical. They need money to run the organization. So if you're not helping them make money, if you're a prophet or prophetess, you are attracting people, you are attracting revenue with your spiritual skills. If you are a singer, you are attracting people to come, and when people come, they come with their money. You are attracting revenue. If you're using any kind of spiritual gift in your church or your mosque or your temple or synagogue or whatever, you are using that to attract revenue to that church, to that temple, to that mosque. They have to do this, because if they don't do it, they don't have a way of surviving. So it's very easy for us to sit and say, "Oh, the church people are evil. The mosque people are evil. This people are evil. That people are evil." But you need to understand political science 101. Each state will advance and protect its own interests first. Your interests, your needs can never override or supersede that of your religious organization. Cannot. So it is not in their interest to teach you how to make money. It is not in their interest to teach you how to recognize your spiritual gifts. It is not in their interest to teach you how to use your spiritual gifts. It is not in their interest to teach you how to be independent. It is not in their interest. The same way that if I'm selling this, it is not in my interest to show you my supplier. I'm not going to show you my supplier. If I show you my supplier, how am I going to sell this? How am I going to make profit? But there are many of us going, "Oh, they have my best interests at heart." No, they don't. They have to survive just like yourself. They have to survive just like yourself. Okay. If you've learned something from today's class, let's have your AYE, in the comment section. If you've learned something from today's class, let's have your AYE, in the comment section. Learn how to make your own money. In all you're getting, get wealth. Your religious organization will say to you, in all you're getting, get wisdom. What is the point of having wisdom if you don't have wealth? Wisdom without wealth is just motivational speaking. And there's so many of us who go to church or go to the mosque or go to the temple, and we keep on listening to all this motivational speaking and motivational speaking, but our problems are not solved. If you want to test your religious leader, and I know that many of you listening and those of you who are going to listen to the replay later on YouTube do not have the courage to do this, but I'm just going to put it out here anyway. If you have the courage, go to your religious leader and ask them, "Can you teach me how to make money?" and see what they say to you. If you have, because I know many of you don't have the courage to do that, and that's okay. But if you have the courage to do it, go to your religious leader. I don't care what religion you belong to, and say to them, can you teach me how to make money? And see what they're going to tell you. They will not teach you how to make money. They will tell you stories. Some of them will say, why should you come to me? That's not my job. That's not my function. Some of them will say, okay, it's a good idea. Call me next week. Some of them will say to you, why are you carnally minded? Some of them will say to you, are you working with demons and devils? They will not teach you. They will not teach you. So that's why you need to start developing your own spirituality, because when you have a good relationship with your spiritual crew will say, go this way, and you go. Your spiritual crew will come to you in your dreams at night, and they will say, don't do this, do this. Don't go this way, go this way. Don't go this way, go this way. Because when I went, before I went to that spiritual practitioner overseas, thinking that yes, he was going to help me, I did have a dream. I did have a dream. My spirit guide came to me in the dream and said, this is who I am. Do you know who I am? I said no. And the spirit guide said, this is who I am, and this is what you need to do. But I didn't understand. I thought, oh, let me go look for a spiritual practitioner. And I went and told the spiritual practitioner, here's a dream that I had. And the spiritual practitioner says, oh, yes, I know what it means. You need to make a feast for this and a feast for that and accept this and accept that. And it's going to be in stage. And he charged me a lot of money. But he was not spiritually authorized to do what I needed to have done. And he knew he was not spiritually authorized to do it. And he would not tell me the truth that he was not spiritually authorized to do it. So he did what he wanted to do, and he knew I didn't know any better. So I spent all that money, spent all that time, and still had problems. And this man knew that I had more spiritual power than he did, but there was no way he was going to admit it. So I don't want you to think that this is a problem that only manifests in churches and mosques, temples and synagogues. It also manifests in the traditional way. Because if you're dealing with a traditional, indigenous spiritual practitioner who is dishonest, they will not tell you what they're spiritually authorized to do and what they're spiritually unauthorized to do. They will not tell you because they want your money. So you have to ask them and say, this, I need to be initiated into my spiritual practice. You need to get a divination first to find out, have I been called to practice or not? Because you do not want to be calling yourself. Because there are many people who call themselves to spiritual practice, but they were not called to spiritual practice. That's not their life destiny. You need to get a divination to confirm this. And if it is confirmed, you went to the first place, they said, yes, you have been called to spiritual practice. You went to a second place, they said, yes, you've been called. You went to a third place, yes, you've been called. Then when you're interviewing, potential spiritual practitioners to help you and initiate you to spiritual practice, you need to ask them, do you know how to do this? Are you authorized to do this? Have you done this before? Where's your body of work? You need to see that not somebody somewhere in there, they have no body of work. There's no proof that they know what they're saying. There's no proof that they know what they're doing. There's no proof that they have experience in this thing. And you're just going just because they're the cheapest person you can find. Okay. Remember again, if you need to get a hold of me, please go to my website at tochi.us or drtochi.com. Okay. You can go there, book an appointment with me if you need divination, if you need spiritual counseling, if you need dream interpretation, please do it through my website. I don't chat without an appointment. And that is so that I can be respectful to those who have booked my time. We're thankful to our Creator, our guardian spirits, our ancestors, and our spirit guides for today's forbidden fruit. May we always be appropriately illuminated, assisted, loved, protected, guided. Ashe. We say, Imagu, Okoza, Lesedi, Makwande, Ayibobo. Inyanho, it is done, it is finished, is complete. Amen. Ma'at, obrigado. Thank you all for coming to class. And remember, this class will be available, the replay will be available on YouTube. Okay? Love you all. Thank you for coming.